G'day, Elsie Stern here, country Victorian gamer of Star Wars Armada, Star Wars Legion, X-Wing, Battletech, Flames of War, Dystopian Wars, and many other games. It's almost Christmas time, so I'm just making a brief video of one of my projects that I've pretty much completed, and just talking about a little bit of what I'm planning on doing over my Christmas holiday break. If you are new to this channel, please like, please subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything yet. Leave a comment if you're interested. But let us begin. For the past year or so, I have been collecting some Battletech miniatures. And I have been painting them as my Kell Hounds. This has been done quite well, and I've experimented a little bit with different coloured reds. I started off using a GW Bale Red, and then also moved on to the Blood Red from GW. And I've tried a couple of other reds, like a Mephistus Red, as well as one of the new contrast red colours by GW. All of them have worked pretty well. Some you'll notice when I show you the models, some are brighter than others. What I have done continuously beyond that is that I've given them all a null wash of null oil in the GW range. So they all sort of, they're not as bright as they were flat, and they do have the colour shading for the gaps in between all the crevices sort of thing, and it looks pretty good. I've also done for all the cockpits I think it's scorpion green colour. It's a very light green, and that looks pretty good as themed. The black obviously is just Abaddon black throughout. The metal is gunmetal. For the weaponry barrels, the inside area of the barrels sort of thing, depending on what they are, obviously if it was an autocannon or a Gauss rifle, I would leave it black to signify that it's ballistic weaponry. Same thing with machine guns. If it was lasers and that, I generally use electric blue or a combination of electric blue and white for the likes of the PPCs, and generally kept that theme also across all of them. So it didn't matter if it was a light laser, medium laser, or a large laser or PPC, all of them had that blue coloration. I think primarily seeing my forces are all in a sphere, I would think that the way that the weapons would be very much the same. Obviously you can go down the path of doing different colors to match the lore or to match the styling of the guns sort of thing. I'm not worried too much about that. So with all the models that I have, I've got something like 29, 30 mechs in total, and almost all of them are for my Kell Hounds. Only one of them is a merc, pure merc. I do have to get more, and I am part of the Kickstarter, so I will be getting more mercenaries stuff in the new year, but I still also need to get a few bits and pieces from the series that have already been released, namely the Innisphere Battlelands, to get me a rifleman, a warhammer, and a wasp primarily. I think the other one is a stinger, but I'm not sure if I need that for the Kell Hounds yet. I also need a Marauder 1. Probably the hardest mech to actually get singly. because it's such an iconic battle mech. But I'll see how I go in the new year. I may even have to go down the pathway of looking at a Iron Winds metal miniature, or maybe something similar. So I've got them out on my table here. I'll show you them all to you right now, and then I'll come back and speak about my future projects for 2024. So starting off, I have a bit of a command lance there for my battalion. Obviously, Archer being Morgan Kell, Shadowhawk, Crusader, and what's that one? Nightsticks. I then have quite a lot of my lights, which I have based all of this upon my the older Battletech Kell Hounds reference book. So the front row here of the Panther, the two Panthers, the Wolfhound and the Jenner, is actually the command lance for the 1st Battalion of Kell Hounds. Next, I've got 2 more light lances. Reading up on the rules, one could potentially be a light battle lance, the other one can be a recon lance. Getting into my heavies and mediums, and you can see in the front that the Zeus on the left is painted in that bale red colour, while the middle Awesome is painted in the red contrast colour that we're able to get from GW at the moment. And then the Banshee and the Grasshopper is painted in the Memphis red. I did some color changes with some of them, like that Thunderbolt having the black missile launcher on his shoulder, simply because I'm planning on getting a second one eventually, and I want to have some different colorations. You can see here that I've got the 2 Panthers. One I've painted up with the ears in black, the other in the ears with red, and a slightly different coloration on weaponry. And then finally some odd ones that I haven't really gotten into a lance yet, and my Merc. All up pretty good. I have been able to purchase some decals, which I have placed on all my mechs, either on the side or on the chest on the left hand, in some form or another. Let me brighten that so you can see that. Yeah. And I've used it a lot in my themes. I haven't as yet gotten too much in any other decals, like numbering or anything, simply because I'm waiting for the new year to get some more of my collection, and also to make some determinations of how I'm going to do it. One thing from the PDF of the Kell Hounds sourcebook is that I need 4 to 8 of them to complete my actual listing according to the Kell Hound roster at the battle just after Mallory's World. Yeah. Also, a lot of these mechs that I've got in here don't appear in that PDF. But like I said, from the Battletech Master Unit list, all of these are perfectly legal Kell Hound miniatures. All except, of course, the Cataphracts right there, which is why he's painted differently. So that's about it for my Kell Hounds. I still have a little bit of basing to do, just to put a little bit of sand and grit on the bottom of the bases. And like I said, I got to do the numbering. I'm also not sure whether or not I should be doing the likes of the reactor core on the back. I've seen some mechs that have the reactor core written in with the radiation symbol, and I'm not quite 100% certain I want to go down that path yet. So I'll wait until I get some more decals and figure out what I'm going to do. Either way, with the decals, the previous ones that I've got on my models at the moment, they are transparent background, which meant that quite a lot of the time I had to put a coat of white underneath it, put the decal on, and then do the outline back in the base color. This, very time consuming and a little bit annoying. So the next lot of decals that I'm looking to get are going to be premiums, a little bit more expensive, but on the other hand, it already has a solid background, so I don't need to worry about doing any further coloring behind it to make the colors appear more vibrant. Beyond that, I am getting the Kickstarter, obviously, getting all the basic Kickstarter stuff. To that, I've added also the Kell Hound Strikers Lance, naturally. So they'll get me my second Crusader. It'll also get me another Wolfhound. It will get me a few other nice bits and pieces to it. I've also got the Direct Fire Lance. That will get me a Marauder 2. Not a Marauder 1, but a Marauder 2. An Atlas, and a couple other bits and pieces that will be nice. In the new year, when I get some money saved up in the side, I'll probably order from the Catalyst Games itself, probably either a battle lance that will have the likes of the Warhammer, the Rifleman, and two other mechs that I need. Just blank in there. I'm also hoping to do a trade with I've got a Comstar Black Knight. Obviously Black Knight doesn't get used hardly anywhere else, so I'm going to trade that to a friend, hoping to get a Griffin or a Vindicator or a Rifleman. Wait and see. And then I've got the rest of the Kickstarter to do, so Warrior Helicopter, tanks, etc. With the vehicles, I'm not planning on painting them all in the actual colours of the Kell Hounds. I'm thinking I'm probably going to do them as more of a utilitarian, like greys, and then have the Kell Hound symbols on them over the top of it for the more appropriate ones, especially things like the Warrior Helicopter that I'm going to get. I think going away from that colour scheme to a more generic colour scheme, whereby they could theoretically be the local militia, part of Ark Royal, rather than being part of this mercenary mech company. I'm also hoping next year maybe to get some battle armor or some base infantry for them. The Kell Hounds didn't have battle armor for quite a long time, certainly not during the clan invasion era, or even the Succession War, they had more jump infantry. So I'll be keeping an eye out at Catalyst, as well as a couple of the other party, for some jump infantries type models. And then that's about it for Battletech for the moment. Other projects that I have to do, well, Star Wars Legion. I have Lando that I still want to complete. I also have, in the second week of 2024, the plans for doing my Star Wars Legion organized play kit, the asset that I'm doing, and hoping that we'll get enough players from the local region interested in coming, participating, and getting some stuff. Beyond that, I definitely am waiting to see how AGM goes with doing some more Lukes, Master Luke. I have Commander Luke, but I want Master Luke now as an operative. I also am very interested in seeing what the Bad Batch for Legion is going to be, whether or not you can have it not only in GAR, or Grand Army of the Republic, but also as a Rebels. That would be interesting. I know I want to get a Dinjarin type model for my Rebels force as well. I also want to get eventually the rest of the Ghost crew. I've already got Ahsoka. I've also got Sabine. I would be very interested to see whether or not they do a complete Ghost crew for Legion in Rebels. Maybe might be a wish list for 2025. Who knows? Beyond that for Legion, basically wait and see. Depending on how I go with life, money. But I may even start a second faction, and it'll probably be seeing my favorites are Civil War era. Probably it may either be Shadow or it might be Imperial. And if it is Imperial, it'll probably be based upon the Imperials at the Battle of Endor rather than the Hoth. Primarily because I think that they will blend nicely with my rule force if I do just a basic Stormtrooper, or may even look at trying to do the likes of the Imperials that were at the Battle of Scarif even. That might not be bad actually. Anyway, other projects. Dystopian Wars. I have Chinese Bastion, 2 of them to paint. That will be my next project, as well as Lando. Then just waiting to see what else Wayland comes up with in terms of their models for the next year or 2. GW, really, there's nothing much that I'm interested in right now. The only thing that I'm interested in is taking a look at Old Worlds when it is released and seeing what sort of rules my Chaos Dwarfs come out with, if they're actually going to be any good. Like I've said previously, I've sunken $5,000 into my Chaos Dwarfs, and even then I haven't actually got a full complete force yet. I still don't have all a full unit of Hobgoblin Wolf Riders, nor do I have a full squad, a full couple of troop choices of Hobgoblins themselves. They are very difficult to find, and only I've been able to find them through third market agencies, including from Russia, which due to the fact that everything's going on over there, I can't even buy. So I'm going to have to wait to see about what I'm going to do with the idea of getting hobgoblins. I spent, like I said, all of that money on getting Forge World stuff. Then they came out and told me that end times came, which really sort of nerfed. I also have my full fantasy force of Empire. And with Old Worlds, yes, Empire will be there. I'm not sure how much I'm going to be able to field. Obviously, some of the things I'll be able to field, like Knightly Orders, the likes of Archers, Crossbowmen, that is fine. But a lot of the things that I have, namely the Outriders, the Pistoliers, the Handgunners, the Steam Tank, these things won't be in Old World. So that makes it rather difficult as to choosing what I want to do. Flames of War, I've got nothing happening at the moment. I'm waiting for a friend to get me some sextants to complete my mid-war stuff. And I'm also starting Team Yankee in 6 mils. You may have seen it in a previous video on here. I have completely done a Canadian force of tanks, infantry, etc. I now need to do some air assets, namely I've got some aircraft on its way, some I think Apaches are, or no, might be Cobras. Anyway, a attack helicopter that the Canadians can use as part of a contingent of Americans. I also need to get some bombers, some air-to-ground fighter craft. They should be on its way. I do also need to get the new NATO book that will give me some updated rules. And then I just need to get everything on the table and have a couple of games. That's my plan next year. Get the stuff, paint it, get it on the table, and trying to do some more content for this channel. So, from Aussie Stern, from down here in Australia, I'm wishing you and your family Merry Christmas, have a safe and happy New Year, and I will see you on the table in 2024. Bye for now.